Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mana Cave. My name is Ed.
My name's Travis.
And today we are doing the first episode with the new Guilds of Ravnica Planeswalkers. This is the one where we battle against the two of them. You are playing Vraska.
Is it Guilds of Ravnica?
Guilds
or
of
is
Ravnica.
it City of Ravnica?
Guilds of Ravnica.
City of Ravnica was the last or the first Ravnica?
I think that was one of the second to last one, the one after just Ravnica.
I shouldn't have this much problem. It's not that complicated. But whatever, you know how sometimes you have things that just keep switching back and forth in your mind?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'll remember it for next time. And then you don't.
See, I was looking at your face, and I thought, what have I said wrong? We've only been 30 seconds in this. I look like I said something horribly wrong. It was like, how have I offended him? No, it is Guilds of Ravnica, because it was weird, because when I was doing an opening, and I was saying Guilds of Ravnica's packs, it sounded weird. So it's Guilds of Ravnica. So, yeah. I do know that for sure.
Okay.
I have done...
I'm glad you do.
Yeah. I've done the opening and overview video for both of these Planeswalker decks. As of this recording, I've only released the Vraska one. Okay. I actually wanted a chance to play... I'm playing Rawl's Planeswalker deck. I wanted a chance to play with Rawl's deck, because now that I'm doing sort of more of an in-depth overview of these Planeswalker decks when I open them up, I have a feeling as to how Rawl's deck will not run properly. Because I can sort of see the idea behind it, which is have creatures which are positively affected by either instants and sorceries that are cast or in your graveyard. But I think they watered it down. They watered it down, and once again, they didn't include any counterspells in this deck.
Yeah.
And I sort of understand why they don't put counterspells in blue decks when they're Planeswalker decks, because it feels bad to have your spell countered. But it also feels bad to have your creature burnt or straight up destroyed. So
does it also not feel bad for your deck not to work as well as it should?
Yeah, exactly, right? It feels bad to lose a lot of the time.
To not have one of your color's true strengths showing.
Yeah. However, I've also been horribly, horribly wrong when it came to the power level of some of these Planeswalker decks when played against other Planeswalker decks. These Planeswalker decks typically won't do well against someone who's has a tournament-worthy deck. Yeah. But
or
against
general constructed decks.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't have to be tournament-worthy, but...
Yeah, exactly. But when you're playing against another Planeswalker deck, they're usually equal with one of them having a slight edge. But sometimes, like, there's a huge gap between the two that come out.
And it's usually, unfortunately, a blue one that's got the negative going for
it. Now, this one is Izzet. It's red and blue, so it does also have burn. So it does have removal in it as well, too, in that sense. But it has some of the worst removal I've ever seen when it comes to burn. And once again, I don't like being completely negative about these Planeswalker decks. I actually think I enjoy Planeswalker decks more than most people. I mean, there's a lot of new players that seem to enjoy them, but I think once players have been playing for a while, they really start to have sort of a negative look on the Planeswalker decks. But I'm not even like that. I've had a lot of fun doing these Planeswalker Deck Showdowns. Yeah. So this is going to give me an opportunity to play with this deck before I sort of give my thoughts on it. Now, I already have Vraska's video out, and I gave her, for a Planeswalker deck, I gave her a fairly glowing, I think, review. I gave some suggestions as to things to change, some things in there didn't make sense to me, but overall, I think straight out of the box, it's going to be one of the better Planeswalker decks. So I guess we're going to find out now.
I guess so.
Do you want to read off your Planeswalker, and then we'll shuffle them into the deck? And then...
Sure. Vraska, the Regal Gorgon, was a 7-mana costed Planeswalker, 1 green, 1 black, 5 of anything. For a 5 loyalty Planeswalker, her +2 is put a +1 counter on up to 1 target creature. That creature gains menace until the end of the turn. That's good. It's +2, so it's not even +1.
And it's all your creatures as well, too. So
do all creatures get menace?
Yeah.
That creature. Put a +1 counter on up to 1 target creature. That creature gains menace till the end of turn.
I'm thinking of the
other one?
I think it's Swarm Guildmage, which had a pay 4 and a black tap it, +1/+0, menace to all creatures. Sorry, I'm thinking of complete.
No problem.
You're the one actually reading it, so why don't we defer to?
Well, because I can read something and then a switch goes off in my head, and it's just like, oh yeah, you read it as what was that Harsh Mentor one? It's like non-mana ability or whatever. Yeah. I can do that really easy apparently. Yeah. Her -3 is just straight up destroy target creature. So no matter what, at 7 mana, you can -3 her, and still she's not going to die to that -3. She'll have 2 loyalty left, and that's a good way to turn the game, is when you can bring a threat out and destroy something.
Yeah, especially for a Planeswalker who wants to protect itself to a certain degree, and that gets rid of one of the biggest threats that could possibly kill it the next turn. So
the mighty -10, which would take at least 3 turns after she comes out. The 4th turn you could do it if you're lucky. For each creature card in your graveyard, put a +1 counter on each creature you control. So if you've stocked your graveyard and you have 3 or 4 creatures, you could have some.
And that's what this deck is about as well too. It likes having creatures in the graveyard, so and it has enough creatures in it to be able to stock your graveyard as well too.
I'm trying to see the art because they've done some really amazing Golgari art where they have like fungus-looking almost armor or dresses and stuff. It's just really unique to their strengths of their guild and everything.
But it's dark. I think it's because of the foil of it. I was on camera. I noticed that it was coming off really, really dark as well too. So whereas a lot of the other Golgari cards, I thought had a nice. I mean, they were supposed to be a bit dark, right? But it at least looked a little bit brighter. So yeah, I think all of her abilities play to the strengths of the deck.
Yeah.
And the second ability, which is also interesting, her -3 ability to destroy target creature. Her tutor card in the deck is destroy target creature as well too. So you could cast the tutor card to destroy a creature, have her in her hand, cast her next turn, and immediately destroy another creature. So there could be a huge swing depending on what cards you end up getting in your hand, right? So
that's evil.
Yeah. Yeah. And destruction is typically king. Like any sort of removal is typically king when it comes to these Planeswalker decks.
When it comes to really almost any deck.
Doesn't
matter how good your creature is if someone can remove it for 2 mana.
Yeah. So unless you're facing off against something like a creature-like control style deck, chances are it's going to be useful, right? So now I'm playing Rawl's deck, which once again I was sort of on the fence on. I'm going to see how it plays out. But it's Rawl, Caller of Storms for 4, a blue and a red. He's a 4 loyalty Planeswalker. His +1 is draw a card. I like that. I always like drawing cards.
No downside? No put back on or anything?
No, it's a nice +1 ability. I mean, it doesn't protect him or anything like that. And it's kind of unfortunate if you need like an answer right away because you cost 6 to get him out there. But if he's already out there, I mean, every turn after that, it's really going to be useful for you.
Pure gas.
Yeah.
I'm using the cool terms.
His -2 is deal 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. So it could be creatures or players. Or Planeswalkers as well, too.
Yeah.
So I like that ability because it does enable you to sort of spread it around. Instead of having to spend 3 to get rid of a 1 toughness creature, if there's a 1 toughness and a 2 toughness, you can best of both.
Every red player feels that burn when you waste damage on a 2 toughness creature.
Yeah, exactly. But there are some 2 toughness creatures you definitely want to get off the board, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mentor the Meek.
Yes. Yeah, there's another one. There's a couple in here that even though they're 2 toughness and they're not going to be big as far as attackers go, their abilities make me want to get them off the board as quickly as possible. And then his -7, which you won't be able to do till his 4th turn out if you're +1 him every time.
Same as this one.
Exactly. Is draw 7 cards, and he deals 7 damage to each creature your opponent controls.
Nice.
So draw 7 and basically a board wipe. If you can get him up to 7, which isn't impossible, it's just highly, highly unlikely.
We've had 1 or 2 games where it's gone unchecked for a while and we've been able to, but for the most part. Like any Planeswalker in any game, they're a threat because of that, because the game will change if you don't keep them in check, essentially.
Yeah, and their loyalty is basically like their own little life total. So in a certain way, like you have to make the choice as to whether or not do I need to bother with the Planeswalker or do I focus just on the player? So it acts as like a damage shield sometimes, right? Because a lot of the times you're just going to want to get that Planeswalker off the battlefield. So, and the thing is, I like him as a Planeswalker. Let me mend that. I like him as a Planeswalker deck Planeswalker. Now, they're always overcosted. So that's just something you have to keep in mind. And they're typically a little bit underpowered. But for a Planeswalker deck Planeswalker, I think he's good. I think his deck could be better. But once again, that's one of the reasons why we're going to play. We're also doing it for the Showdown, 2nd season.
See, I thought you were going to say you like him as a Planeswalker card, but as a Planeswalker, I don't know, maybe he burned Orphanage or something like that. I don't know his backstory. So I thought, like, ooh, is there something juicy there? It's like,
I don't know his backstory either.
So you can't say you like him as a Planeswalker.
He always looks very friendly.
They all look like
he actually looks like Doctor Strange, really, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Even like the blue and the gold.
That's a very nice foil in that one, actually.
It is.
Lightning?
It is. It's like I said, yours is a bit dark. This is actually, anytime they do like fire effects or lightning effects and it goes into foil.
Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. And this is definitely one of the nicer looking ones that I've seen because of the effect. Even the lightning strike in the back there. So we're going to shuffle these into our decks. We're going to then, determining our opening hands, we're going to roll to see who goes first, and we'll be right back with all that. Okay, we're back, and we've determined our opening hands. Travis, you start with 7.
7.
I did have to mulligan once, so I'm at 6, but it should be okay. I'm going to scry. One of the things I forgot to do in a previous episode, of which I didn't catch the editing, and oddly enough, no one mentioned it. So maybe people thought I was doing it off camera, but I forgot to scry twice in another match. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm doing what Travis does. I'm putting a die on top to remind myself that I get to do that. So hopefully I will remember still, because I'm horrible with remembering stuff. We are going to first roll the Seedless first, and then we're going to show you our opening hand. So I got a 10.
I got a 12.
Couldn't just let me have this one, huh? No, couldn't let me have one. So you're going to go first. You get to show your opening hand.
Okay.
I'm going to bow my head and allow you to do so.
I was curious if you're looking, because I was jokingly trying to take the dice off your deck.
Oh, were you? Okay, sorry. Wasn't paying attention at all.
No. So I think I'm holding the right spot, but you didn't flip the camera thingy down this time. So we're going to assume that it's catching the camera.
I'm going to guess that it's not going to be any worse for you than when you can see the thing.
Come on. I've been trying so hard.
Let me just fix that quickly for us. Okay, so I've done that. I flipped that around, so now we can see it. So here is my open. You didn't say word one about your opening hand, did you?
No, I was too busy with the joking of the dice thing.
Okay.
I was like, do it. You know you want to.
So there's my opening hand. As you can see, I'm really, I'm not going to say I'm dependent on this scry, but I'm kind of hoping the scry does a little bit of something for me. So speaking of which, I'm going to scry now.
Scry, man.
Yeah, I'm going to scry right now. Douse down top.
Dang it.
Easy top. So I'll allow you to kick things off.
I will kick things off with a Golgari Guildgate. That's hard to say, actually. Golgari Guildgate. Enters tapped, otherwise I can tap it for black and green. Over to you, sir.
Excellent. I'll draw the card I know is on top. I will play that island, and I will pass the turn to you.
Untap. Draw. I'm just going to play a forest. Which it's the top of a building, I think, with trees growing on it. That's not a forest at all.
These Ravnica lands, I've noticed, are very urban based. So it's not like a lot of actual nature. It's sort of like, well, here's a building, and I think there's a tree in the background. We'll call that a forest.
There's shrubbery on top of the building.
Beautiful artwork. We're not knocking the artwork, just so you know. It's just one of those funny,
When you see a mountain, there's no mountain in there.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'll pass back to you.
Okay. Or this island here, which is maybe it looks like a Venice-style city. Anyways, whatever. Draw.
Do I at least see a gate in the guild gate? I think I do in the background there.
So there's no play from you for turn 2.
No turn 1, no turn 2.
I'm going to play a mountain. I'm going to tap 2. That's right. I'm going to start things off with Fire Urchin, which is a 1/3 elemental. It's got trample, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. Pass the turn to you, sir.
Okay, I'm going to play a swamp. So I've got lots of colors, choices. So I'll tap for green, black, green, one of anything, in the wrong order, to play the Attendant of Vraska. When an Attendant of Vraska dies, if I control a Vraska Planeswalker, I gain life equal to Attendant of Vraska's power. Otherwise, it's a 3/3 for 3, which is just not terrible.
Yeah, it's average, right? It's sort of the average cost, I think, of a 3/3.
It'll do.
So, okay, so my turn?
Yep.
I say as I already untap. Alrighty, I'm going to play another island. Well, I'm not going to swing because you got a 3/3 there. So what I'll do is I'll
if
tap.
you had 3 instants or sorcery spells,
it would be game over. I'm going to tap a red and a blue and then one of whatever and cast the Wee Dragonauts, which is a 1/3 fairy wizard, and it's got flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +2/+0 until the end of turn.
That's in that deck?
That is in this deck.
That is a good card, actually.
I like the Wee Dragonauts. It's one of the ones where I kind of wish they'd put a full playset in. I think they only put 2 in, though. So I'm going to pass the turn to you now.
I'm tapping. Drawn. I'll stack that first. I'll go to combat.
Sounds good.
Swing for 3.
I will not block with either of my creatures, so I'll take 3.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm down to 17.
Then tapping for 4, 1 being green, 3 of anything, for the Wild Ceratok, who is simply a 4/3 Rhino. Completely vanilla 4/3 Rhino for 4.
He's a vanilla Rhino, all right.
Pass back to you.
Pass back to me.
He's got a lot of horns, but... Which is weird. He has 3 horns, but 4 power and 3 toughness. I think something messed up on the art there.
I like the artwork. I thought you were going to go for a joke there. I was all cocked and ready to hear it, so... What do I want to do? Well, I guess I'm just going to move to combat.
Okay.
I'll just swing in with the flyers, the Wee Dragonauts.
I have no blockers for the Wee Dragonauts.
And it's not pumped up, so it's just going to be 1 damage to you.
Ping!
I will then tap 1 red and 2 blue and bring out the Fearless Halberdier, which is a 3/2 human warrior. Just a good old vanilla creature.
That's a mighty axe, though.
It is. Powerful axe. And I'm going to... It's a halberd, actually. But I'm going to pass it to you. An axe on the end of a pole, I think, is called a halberd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to ask. Untap. Draw. Play a swamp. Okay. We'll go to combat.
Okay. Well... She is fearless, so I think she'll step in front of the wild Ceratok.
Okay.
Okay, so damage?
Damage.
Okay, so I take 3.
Take 3.
These trade?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so I'm down to 14.
Okay. Tap for 5.
Mm-hmm.
For a Dowser of Lights.
Ooh.
4 or 5 horror. Nothing else going on.
Well,
much like the Ceratok.
Whole bunch of scoops of vanilla you got going on there. And
yeah.
It's doing the work right now for you, so.
Delicious. Taps me out, and I'll pass back to you.
Pass back to me, okay. Well, I know what I hope this is. Okay. I'm going to play a mountain. I'm going to untap my Wee Dragonaut. So I'm looking at possibly 7. I'm looking at possibly 7.
Possibly.
Okay, I will... pass the turn back to you.
Okay. I feel you got blockers with mana. 5 mana. Okay, play a 3rd forest. Got no more trees than the rest of them. Yeah, sure. Probably walk into stuff, but, turn stuff sideways. It's also the cool person saying.
Okay. At 14, I'd be taking 7.
Mathematically, 50% of your life total.
See, you have a spell in your hand that during the opening, I swore was gonna defeat me, and I think I have to block. I think. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put the Wee Dragonauts in front of the Attendant of Vraska.
Okay.
And then pre-damage, I'm going to tap for 5, and I'm going to cast Rawl's Dispersal. For 3 and 2 blue, it's an instant. Return target creature to its owner's hand. You may search a library and a graveyard for a card named Rawl, Caller of Storms. Reveal it, put it into your hand. If you search a library this way, shuffle it. I'm going to return that to your hand.
Okay.
This is going to get +2/+0, so it's now a 3/3. This is going to get +1/+0, so it's a 2/3, but it's not blocking right now. I'm going to search for Rawl, and then I will allow you to respond in any way you'd like.
By putting it in my graveyard?
Oh, okay. So this is all right. Just checking.
Well, we'll let that part of it resolve.
Yeah, and then if I can find Rawl,
that's pretty. It's 5 mana. Ooh, but
there's Rawl. So I'm just going to shuffle this up quickly, and we'll be right back into the action in just a moment. Okay, I've shuffled up, and now I've got Rawl. I'm going to put him in my hand. Damage goes through these trade. Now you don't have Vraska, so you're not going to gain life from that.
No.
Okay.
What I will do, beyond getting my beard hair off your table, is I'm going to tap for 1, 2... Pardon me. Do a math right here. 1, 2, 3 to cast another Attendant of Vraska.
Okay.
And then 1, 2, 3, 1 being black, 2 of anything. For the Crawl Raider. Crawl Raider? He's an insect warrior 2/3 with menace.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to repopulate my board and max my mana out. So, but I'm tapped out and passing back to you.
Okay. Draw. Alrighty. Well, I'm not playing a land, so something's not coming out this turn.
Because his magic number is 6.
I will go ahead and I'm going to tap for 5, including 1 blue. I'm going to bring out the Omnispell Adept. It is a 3/4 human wizard. I can pay 2, 1 blue, tap it, and I may cast an instant or sorcery card from my hand without paying its mana cost. So I think this card could be good. Could be good. Especially in certain... I don't necessarily know if it's going to find its full value in this particular deck, because not a lot of the spells, I think, are over 3.
After you just spent 5 on that
one.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I should bad time to say that. And I'm going to now pass the turn to you. But the one good thing as well, too, it is a 3/4. It's a decent-sized blocker as well, too. So hopefully that will... Ooh, no. I don't like it. I hate when he sets land down like that. He gets all excited. He's so rarely excited about putting a land down. Oh, what are you doing? No, don't bring her out.
Vraska, Regal Gorgon. She be Regal. So she comes in as a 5 loyalty planeswalker right at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to read her now. Now, the question is, though, so if I straight up destroy that, I can have a trampoline thing that might still attack me. Which could be pumped. So I need to keep a good-sized blocker back for that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to minus her. -3, drop her to 2 to destroy target creature.
Okay. So the Adept goes directly to the graveyard.
I mean, that might not have been the better shot with the prowess-esque effect there.
Well, one of your creatures is menace, so I can no longer block that creature, right?
Yeah.
And the other creature, if I block it...
It's a 3/3. Well, he gets a plus, though, like a +1.
He gets a +1. I'm tapped out, though, remember, as well. Too.
No, but like for next turn, if you attack Vraska, he has trample.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So
you want to you want to protect your Planeswalker. Well...
Yes, actually, Vraska's pretty darn good.
Okay.
So my menacey dude will just... So
I'm going to take 2.
And then I am tapped out, so I'm passing back to you.
And I'm at 12. I'm going to untap everything. I'm going to draw...
Especially stack my mana here for no reason. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, there we go. Neat piles, plus a guild gate.
Huh, interesting.
Uh-oh. You like this card?
I'm going to play a mountain.
Yeah, it's a mountain. I was about to say, it's not a land, though, or he would have threw that down.
Trying to think best way of doing this.
Playing your Planeswalker and killing mine would be my guess. And I knew he could do it, but I'm like, play Vraska.
Yeah, you know what? I have to do it. I have to. So I'm gonna leave up 1 red. I'm gonna tap 5, including... Oh no, I need to tap 6. Never mind. There is no leaving up any red. I'm gonna tap everything, and there's blue and red there, and bring out Caller of Storms. So, mentioned this before, his +1 ability is draw a card, or I can -2 him and deal 3 damage, divided as I choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. So, I think I'm going to just immediately -2 him to do 2 to Vraska and 1 to you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I dropped 18. Vraska goes to the bin. The hilarious thing is it's pretty obvious next turn my menace dude is going to be attacking. So it was a quick exchange of planeswalkers. Sometimes they would show up at all. Other times it's like, boop, boop.
Like we both basically used our planeswalkers as removal spells. So, So there we go. So I'm going to pass turn to you now.
Untap.
Now, the original style of tutor cards, which they did away with briefly for M19, are back in effect. So if we get those, we can get our planeswalkers from our graveyards, which is kind of nice.
Good. So we are going to go to combat. So the Crawl Raider will attack. Crawl will attack Rawl.
Okay.
And the Attendant of Vraska will just straight up attack you.
Okay, I'm going to not block either of them. Well, I can't block him because he's got menace. Okay, so damage. Damage goes through. So Rawl dies. He goes to the graveyard. And I take 3, which puts me down to 9.
Okay, so I'm tapping for 5 to bring out, once again, the Doubter of Lights. We saw him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
He's 5. Pass back to you.
Pass back to me.
He does not have menace, and now that I no longer have Vraska, I cannot give him said menace.
Okay, well, I'm going to play Mountain. Shucks, I'm not crazy about my choices here. I'm going to do this now, even though it's an instant card. I'm going to cast Chemister's Insight, 3 and a blue, instant, draw 2 cards. It also has Jumpstart, so I may cast this from my graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other cost, then exile this card. So that's going to go into my graveyard. I'm going to turn it sideways in my graveyard so I remember it's there. I'm going to draw 2 cards. And I'll pass the turn back to you, sir.
Can I ask you an honest question?
Sure.
Why did you choose to tap so many blue for that? Because you have something red in your hands, probably. Nope, don't answer. I answered my own question. I'm like, no, because I'm like, wouldn't you want, if you drew a good card, wouldn't you want blue? I'm like, oh, no.
Well, yeah.
Just you wait and see. It's called thinking out loud, okay? Really, really out loud. I thought maybe you had some other, thing. And I'm glad you got to use Jumpstart, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to use a Jumpstart card. I haven't been able to Jumpstart it yet, though.
Yeah. So I am swinging forth with the team.
Okay.
So that's the one that has Menace. That's just a 3/3. That's just a 4/5.
Well, I think I have to block the 4/5. Put that in front of that. And then I'll still be taking 5?
Yep.
Okay. Any other shenanigans?
Not at this point, sir.
Okay, so I'm down to 4.
Okay, then I will play yet another swamp. I will tap 3 to play the Spinal Centipede.
Oh.
It's a 3/2.
Oh, this dies, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
3/2. When it dies, I get to play +1 counter on target creature I control. Man, looking at that thing, it looks like it should have Death Touch. It's one of those crazy centipedes and everything, or millipedes, whatever it is. But no, it just...
It's pretty badass, because it's got like the rib cage thing on its back and the spine and...
Yeah. It's almost like it put like dragon armor or worm armor on top of itself.
And its front things are like...
Yeah.
Ugh.
And actually, so again, we're in black, not in green.
Mm-hmm.
So for 3/2 common for 3, that when it dies, you got to basically transfer a counter.
Yeah.
That's actually a straight up kind of good card.
Yeah, there's also the Ironhide Beetle, which comes into play. It's a 1/1 green for 1/1, but you can then put a +1/+1 counter on a creature on the battlefield, which would include itself if you wanted to. So at worst, it comes in as a bear and possibly
Flex-a-bear.
Yeah, it's that's a nice card as well too. And it was back from Judgment, I think. So
I'm all out.
Okay,
it's Flex-a-bear.
Okay.
It's a bear, but flexible.
Alrighty. Okay.
Is that card in this deck?
Which?
The one that...
Oh, yeah. The Ironhide Beetle? Yeah.
Okay.
There are, I believe, 2 copies of it in that deck. Maybe 3. I'm going to actually concede. I don't have... I have 1 creature in my hand. I have the Hellkite Whelp. And it's funny, when you ask that question about... why'd you tap so many blue? Yeah. I was immediately kicking myself afterwards because I did have Maximize Altitude, which not only would give it +1/+1, it gives it flying as well too, but it's a sorcery. So I would have had to cast it on my turn. It wouldn't really done much for me. I couldn't do it as a trick. But when I first looked at it, I was like, I could have cast this, but it's not. It's a sorcery, not an instant. So,
why?
Yeah, I know.
Why?
It's one of many things. But it does have Jumpstart as well too, so you can cast it sort of twice.
Okay, you know what? First judging was wrong because, with your prowess-ish creatures, that's actually not terrible.
But in order to do that, you need to have a deck which can flood and then keep attacking, right? You can't constantly be on the back foot. One of the things that keeps a player on the back foot is not having any other way to deal with some of those creatures. There is some burn in that. I didn't draw any of it, so I couldn't get rid of any of your creatures that way. I was having to make sort of trades and stuff. The other cards in my hand, Rawl's Dispersal. So once again, I could have grabbed it for the graveyard, but it would have cost too much.
Yeah.
And then there's Direct Current, which is a sorcery. Once again, not instant speed burn, and Direct Current deals 2 damage to any target. Jumpstart. So I could have taken out one of your creatures, but I'm already at 4. You've got so much damage on the board. These are the spells where, I understand, like you said, like the idea is cast these spells, even jumpstart them again, pump up those other creatures, and then swing into attack. I would rather have the flexibility of these spells being able to be cast instantly. And then the one card I could cast instantly, I ended up casting my main phase anyways, which was a draw spell. So yeah, the burn spells, I really wish they had gone with more instant speed stuff as opposed to sorcery speed stuff, because this would have been amazing if it was instant speed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the reason why.
So ironically, I was very judgmental of that one, but with the Wee Dragonauts, which sounds hilarious because they already have flying, but you attack, you cast it once, you get a +2 plus that one, so it becomes a 4 something, and then you can cast it again that pre-combat to continue to buff it.
You so can actually it becomes a 7/3 by the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. For one card, you have to discard another card.
2 additional mana and discarding 1 card.
Yeah. That's actually what that Wee Dragon. The flying thing is funny because it has flying, but that's actually nice way to fly over for 7 quick damage in a game that might be stalled on the ground. Actually. I was a little too harsh on that card initially, but the sorcery is
once again, I wish it was an instant speed card, and I was kicking myself because originally I did think it was an instant speed, and then I remembered, no, it's a sorcery. So, but it was funny because you did call me on something, and that was I didn't want to say it as a teachable moment at that point because I didn't want to tip that I might have made a mistake, but you're absolutely right. I should have left, it would have hurt nothing to leave up at least 1 blue. So, so when you're tapping out like that, and you don't know what you're going to be drawing into, and if you're playing 2 colors, definitely leave at least 1 of each up just in case, right? But sadly, yes.
Whenever Ed has blue mana, I'm always watching it because
you don't have to worry in these Planeswalker decks, though.
No, I do.
Normally it's counter spells, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I got to be a little bit sneaky with the with Rawl's what's it called again? Rawl's
bounce,
dispersal. Yeah.
Rawl's bounce.
Yeah. So it's right here. I should just write it from there. But yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna shuffle up. We're gonna get to the second game of this match right now. Alrighty. So we are back, and Travis, once again, you did not have to mulligan.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I didn't mulligan.
You didn't.
There's 2 different things there. Didn't have to mulligan.
I did have to mulligan, and I did. I'm down to 6, and it's still not the strongest hand, but I figured, what the hell? Just keep it. I get to go first this time, though, right?
Yes, you do, sir.
So I will show first.
You better.
You want me to scry right now? I'm going to scry right now, right?
Because I'm gonna want to take it off. When I show my cards, yeah, because that's when your eyes are closed.
It's a tough call. I'm going to put this on the bottom, though. I think I got to put that one on the bottom. Okay. So now that I've done the scrying thing.
The scrying game?
Yeah, the scrying game. I will...
#scrying game.
There, show you my hand. And now I'm going to go cry in the shower. Liking the scrying game. Anyways.
There's my opening hand. Again, I'm not going to explain anything, but there's this guy here, I think, who I wanted to keep the hand mostly for him. I guess it really is a her.
You didn't want to let her down?
No.
I'm keeping this for you. All for you. My turn, correct?
Indeed, sir.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to start off by playing an Izzet Guildgate. Enters the battlefield tapped, and I can tap it for either blue or red. And it's also a gate in addition to being a land. Pass the turn to you.
There's a new card where it lets you 4 mana, I think. Lets you tutor for 2 lands or 2 gates, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting. I wonder how that one's going to kind of play out. If people might play that in budget kind of EDH decks. Because
there's a really great blue card as well, too, which allows you to, I think, draw it does something for every gate you have in the battlefield. Every time you play a gate, you draw a card. It looks like it could be good. So, anyways.
Just a forest, no play back to you.
Okay. Also, when we talk about certain cards, if we can't remember the names, I usually try to put the card up. But that actually reminded me of something. Right now, unless I scan these in, which I may do that, I'm going to have a hard time finding higher res versions of these cards. So the graphics for the cards may be slightly less refined as you're used to, because I usually use the high res scans as possible, but they're a little hard to come by right now. Anyways, I'm going to play Mountain. I pass the turn to you.
Okay. Cool. Forest and a Swamp are in play. Tapping 2 of them for the Glowspore Shaman. When Glowspore Shaman enters the battlefield, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. I may put a land card from my graveyard on top of my library. So, a Guildgate, Swamp.
Ooh!
Table flip! No!
Oh! Is that Beastmaster?
That's Beast Whisperer.
Whisperer, sorry, not Beastmaster.
Oh, I could have drawn so many cards off that. Here I am, all cocky about watch this awesome play go down, my friends.
Now, it says land, not basic land, right? So you can put that Guildgate on top of your library.
Yeah. Yeah, I can I?
I can't remember. I don't think there's ways for you to get creature cards out of your graveyard in that deck. I might be wrong.
There should be. It's a Golgari deck. But, I mean, your deck, you should be able to counter spells and burn cheap because it's an Izzet deck. I just need a quick math here. So I'll do it out loud. If I put Golgari Gate back on, draw it next turn.
Comes in tapped. So I couldn't do that. But then the following turn, yeah, I think I will put the Golgari Guildgate
I'll just put it like that. Oh, Beast Whisperer. That's like... I think that
there's only one copy in there.
Only one copy. I think it actually may be worth money.
Is it really?
I think it might be.
Oh, it might be?
I have no idea. But
it was one of the ones I suggested to put in the extras in the deck. Because it's such a creature-heavy deck.
I think it's going to be worth money because it's one of those cards where nobody cares about standard for it. They want it for EDH.
Just to clarify, we are not financial advisors when it comes to Magic Gathering, so don't rush out and get 400 copies of this card to speculate because we could be wrong.
Or if you do, maybe just Google it first. There's a whole bunch of good sites. Yeah, that's my Glowspore Shaman. That's my turn. Pass to you.
Okay.
So, come on, Beast Whisperer.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to... That's a 3-1, right?
It's 3-1.
I'm going to play an island, and I'm going to pass the turn back to you.
Okay, untapping, drawing the mystery card. Playing the mystery card, entering tapped. Alright, so here goes one of those all-in moments. Tapping 2 for the Iron Shell Beetle we talked about a bit earlier. When he enters the battlefield, a +1 counter on target creature. So I'm going to put a +1 counter on the Glowspore Shaman.
Okay, makes sense.
Potentially setting it up for a bad burn spell coming its way. But I will now go and attack with my Glowspore Shaman.
Okay, so that's a 4-2 now coming at me.
It's a 4-2 now.
Okay, so I'm going to take 4. So I'm down to 16.
And that's me tapped out. So back to
my turn?
Yeah. So now he is unfortunately just a 1/1 beetle.
Okay, I'm going to play a mountain. Right. So, to hell with it. I'm going to tap for 3.
No, not that terrible burn spell.
Guess one of the worst burn spells I've seen in a long time, which is exclusive to this deck. Precision Bolt, which is all the power of Lightning Bolt, 3 times the cost in sorcery speed. So I'm going to do 3 damage to that, and it's also got interesting flavor text. Rahl had wielded lightning all his life, but had never harnessed the power of an entire guild, which does 3 damage.
Yep.
Entire guild. Entire guild.
At sorcery speed.
At sorcery speed too. So, anyways, enough dumping on that card, but that card is not great. I will pass. Even for a Planeswalker deck, that card's not great. Anyways, pass it to you.
See, had I not gotten greedy with my Glowspore Shaman,
no, I don't think I
would have had a 2/2 now.
Yeah, but you had no way of knowing, right? You didn't know at sorcery speed you were going to get burnt out of the
play a swamp,
out of the forest or swamp, possibly.
I'm going to tap for 3 for the Spinal Centipede. We saw him in the first game. When he dies, I get him +1 counter on him. So that Iron Shell Beetle may yet become a 2/2. Maybe a Beetle Bear. So my non-bear beetle is going to attack you for 1.
Okay. I will take 1. So I'm down to 15.
And that's my turn.
Okay. Rightio. Well, I'm going to... This time I'm going to pay 4. And I'm going to bring out Rahl's Staticaster, which is a 3/3 with Trample. And it, whenever it attacks, if I control a Rahl Planeswalker, it gets +1/+0 for each card in your hand until the end of turn.
Ooh.
Not a bad ability. You have to have Planeswalker out, but still. And it's 3/3, it's a blocker, so I'm going to pass the turn to you now.
Okay. Untap. Draw. Oh, that card. Okay. Okay. So, I'm going to go to combat.
Okay.
No, I'll stack them. At least then you might be like a bear.
Okay. I will
help me build a better bear.
I'll not block. So, any shenanigans?
No shenanigans.
Okay, so I'm down to 12.
I mean, I have some shenanigans. I'm just gonna do that just because it's funny. I'm gonna tap for a black. Pardon me. No, let's get this sequencing here right. Okay. First off, I'm gonna tap 1. Cast Prey Upon.
Ugh.
Target creature you control deals or fights.
Fights, yeah.
So they're gonna fight.
Okay, so this is gonna die, that's gonna die. But
build a better bear.
There we go.
And then I'm gonna tap 3 to cast another Spinal Centipede.
Oh!
So backing it up a little bit, had I chosen to do that first fight and then attack, I would have gotten through for 2 damage.
Yeah.
But if I bluffed and looked all tough and then looked to change, I could have still cast the second one next turn anyway and still been down to one card and still had Prey Upon my hand if I had to, kind of thing. So
yeah,
it was a tough call. Oh, he is tapped.
Do you have 2 or 3 cards left in your hand?
I have 3.
3, okay.
He didn't attack because he would have been just dead.
Okay.
So, tapped out, pass back to you.
Okay. I really was hoping for a land there.
Yeah, me too. At least we're honest with each other.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tap for 3 and Precision Bolt your Spinal Centipede. So I know I'm making that a 3/3, but the alternative was to bolt your 2/2 and keep your 3/2 alive, which could then also give a +1/+1 counter to even better creatures. So I decided to go that way, and I'm going to pass the turn to you because 4 mana is not the amount of mana I want.
5 mana is a little bit better than 4 mana. So go to combat. Yep. Swing to 3/3.
Okay, so I'm taking 3. I'm down to 9.
Tapping for 5 for our friend, the Dowser of Lights, the 4/5 horror. With a lot of flavor text, but I'm not even going to bother reading any of it.
I'm in so much trouble.
I'll pass back to you.
Okay. Draw. Okay. Okay, so maybe I live a little longer. I'm going to tap for 4. For one of the cards that I actually like in this deck, Erratic Cyclops.
Dang.
So it is a 0/8 with Trample. And whenever I cast an instant or sorcery spell, Erratic Cyclops gets +X+0 until the end of turn, where X is that spell's converted mana cost.
It's pretty erratic.
So that's a huge swing. That's more than just +1 or plus whatever for a single instant. That's converted mana cost. So that can be pretty useful. And right now, I'm just glad to have a 0/8 on the board. Pass the turn to you.
Okay.
Though I really now hope I start drawing more land.
I'll just go to combat.
Yep.
So 3/3 and 4/5.
Okay, well I have to put in front of the 4/5.
Okay.
So I'm taking 3. I'm down to 6. Don't you do it, Walters. Don't you do it!
No, tapping 3 for the Spinal Centipede again. Another one.
It's not great, but it's okay.
It's okay. Pass back to you.
Pass back to me. Please. Please be something. I can't believe this is happening. Izzet Guildgate enters the battlefield tapped. Even if I block the 4/5, even if you can't do anything else, I'm still getting 6 thrown my way next turn. I have to concede, my friend. I have to concede.
Yeah.
I've got the instant speed, but 5 cost Command the Storm, which deals 5 damage to target creature. I got 2 of those. I got Raw's Dispersal, which is also 5 mana, but I already had Raw in my hand as well too. So it's like I was like hoping that I could catch a couple land drops in a row to maybe get some of these 5 drops started to going, and I couldn't do it. Could not do it, sir.
See, had I not Glowspore Shamaned, I would be at my 6th mana right now for the Bounty of Might.
That's the card that I thought was going to kill me one of the games, but you didn't even need that. Oh, yeah.
But it's funny because you gain life equal to its toughness. So I could destroy your toughness.
It would have been crazy. It would have been nuts, right? I'm curious with it. Yeah, land. See,
if dead weights in this one too.
If it was a non-tap land, I could have persevered. I might have been able to turn it around, but it wasn't. Now, granted, the opening hand I kept was not the greatest.
I had two land, but I had the Glowspore Shaman, so I'm guaranteed essentially a 3rd land. I did not think I'd be binning my Beast Whisperer, but
this this is sort of confirmed. Now, granted, I didn't have the best, and I'm not using this as an excuse as to losing. I'm using this as sort of like the last possible hold back for me to really diss this deck, to use a term that I don't normally use.
From the 90s?
Yeah. So, maybe if I had some slightly, I mean, you can say that about any deck, right? Maybe if I had some slightly better opening hands, but I don't think it competes well with the Vraska deck. No. Because even when you were just getting your vanilla lower cost creatures out there, that was enough. I mean, I have some cheap 1/3s, but when I'm facing against even like your 3/2 for 3, it's just, I can't keep up. Especially when a lot of the spells that they have in here are sorcery. So great for attacking if this was that aggro-y kind of deck.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, I needed that ability when I was blocking, and I didn't have the instance to pump up those guys for blocking.
Because again, blue is control, and control is sometimes waiting, being defensive.
Yeah.
Setting up the blocks the way you want them, and then responding with your instant, especially when you have something that's going to benefit from the story. So, instant sorceries, pardon me. So yeah, it seems like it's just playing against its own weaknesses.
Precision bolt. Like, it would have killed him to make this instant speed. Like, I understand then it would have been a functional reprint of
Open Fire.
Open Fire. But it would be so much better as an instant in this deck specifically. And there are better burn spells out there. There is also counter spells that you can put into this deck. So that if I have no play and I have to hold up mana, at least I'm doing something useful.
Yeah.
It's rough. I don't like the mana curve on this particular deck. I don't like the fact that they've loaded up with so many creatures, but very few multiple copies of a lot of the creatures. It's just, I hate being so negative about a deck, which I think with a little bit of tweaking could be really good.
Yeah.
This is one of those decks which it wouldn't take much. Just peel away some of the precision bolts, precision bolts, some of the vanilla creatures which aren't doing anything for you, and just replacing them with even additional ones of cards that are already in the deck. There is better burn removal out there than Command the Storm, so it is what it is. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to do well. I think part of me had hoped I was wrong, and like I said, other people out there may have different experiences, because I know there's been different people who said, "Oh, this has done really well for me," and that's great. I hope this deck does better for you than it did for me. And maybe it was just the fact that I didn't even try to do another mulligan. But Travis, do you have anything else to say?
No. I think we actually talked at length.
Yeah. There's a lot of talking at the end of this one because there wasn't much gameplay. So thank you guys very much for watching, and we will see you all in the next episode.